This fall, Mortal Kombat 1 returns with the same blood-soaked, bone-crunching action we've come to expect from the series, but it's also got some new tricks up its sleeve. Here to tell me about it is Ed Boon from NetherRealm Studios. Welcome back to the IGN stage here, Ed.
Thanks. It's always great to talk to you guys.
So, just about a little less than a month out from the launch of Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat is really known for having these excellent story modes enjoyed by casual and hardcore fans alike. I think you guys are just the best at including story modes in your fighting game. When did that become important for NetherRealm? You know, over the course of Mortal Kombat's 30-year history, when did it become important for you to put all this extra time and polish into the story mode?
Actually, it was back in Mortal Kombat versus DC was the first time we did that. A lot of people think that it was Mortal Kombat 9 that we did it, but MK versus DC had it, and it was something that we really had to refine, you know, getting a lot of the stuff under the hood going as far as having it to function. But with each version that we've done, it's been more and more well received by players, and so we've just, each one we just kind of raising the presentation bar, and it's kind of become a staple with our games at this point.
Yeah, I agree. As someone who likes fighting games but isn't super good at them competitively, I love having a fun single-player mode to play through the game myself. Yeah. So having reset the timeline with Mortal Kombat 11, what were some of the key stories that you wanted to revisit and recalibrate over the 30-year saga?
We actually wanted to revisit and recalibrate and reinvent everything. You know, the whole goal with making the Mortal Kombat 1 story was taking the existing characters that everybody knows and putting them in a brand new story, literally starting from a big bang that Liu Kang creates. And so it's a new story with familiar characters, and all the relationships we're trying to change around to be different and just kind of reintroduce all the characters.
Invasions are replacing the crypt this time around, which I think we saw some footage of just now. What can you tell us about this new mode for unlocking cool extras for your characters?
Sure. Like you were speaking about before, we've always put a big focus on the single-player experience, and Invasions is kind of like the next step. So if you look at it, you can almost think of Invasions as a board game that is multiple city blocks long. So the player is going from node to node, getting challenges, getting rewards, getting all of these different tasks they have to do. And they're also, it also has an RPG element, so they're leveling up their character, they're getting them stronger, and it's probably the most reward-friendly part of Mortal Kombat 1. It had, most of the rewards are just really buried in there, and it's a very long, extensive single-player experience that we upgrade with a new season about every 6 weeks.
That sounds great. I can't wait to dive into that. Now, you've had several betas over the past few months. What learnings have you taken from that and have been able to incorporate into the final game?
A lot. We absolutely, we had the tech beta and we've had the pre-order bonus, and each one we've seen so many things that players have done that we had no idea could be done. A lot of them were great fun things, but there was a couple that we had to kind of turn a few knobs to make sure, you know, kind of the speed of the motion of the characters we dialed up a bit, and there was just tons of constructive feedback that we got from players that, you know, it was invaluable to have those demos.
Now, you've revealed, included in your upcoming downloadable characters, are Omni-Man, Homelander, Peacemaker. For Homelander and Peacemaker, you've got Anthony Starr and John Cena, the likenesses of the actors. Are the actors actually coming in to record any dialogue or any grunts for the characters?
We had J.K. Simmons coming in. We had John Cena. You know, so we're super fortunate to get them excited enough that they know they know what Mortal Kombat is, and they come in, and it just adds that additional layer of authenticity to get the voice actor in there.
Yeah, that's very cool. And then actually in a recent interview with IGN, you were talking about Omni-Man and Homelander. Even though the characters are actually fairly similar, you're going to make sure that they play very differently in the final game. Can you elaborate on that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a number of people think of Homelander and Omni-Man as evil versions of Superman, right? And so they have, you know, super strength, they can fly, and they're that kind of category. But we're absolutely going to make them play differently. You know, there's obviously a ton you can do with a character that can fly and is that strong. You know, just paths that they take. Right. You know, it's not like it's this free for all. So they will absolutely play differently.
And when it comes to designing fatalities, obviously it seems like you guys have no limits, like let's just go as crazy, as wacky as possible. But with characters like Homelander that are seemingly all powerful,
Yeah.
at that is that an extra challenge, or do you have to actually show some restraint at that point?
No. It's one of the easy ones. You know,
Good.
we're such fans of these characters, and we've watched the shows,
Yeah.
and we love making, getting inspiration from some of the things that they've done in the shows and turning them into a fatality. So that's going to be a big part of that whole experience of playing those characters.
That's super exciting. Here at Gamescom, you announced new playable characters, Sindel and General Shao. What can you tell us about how they fit into the story?
Oh, well, they, you know, in Mortal Kombat 11, you know, we presented them like they were married, right? Like, and they were absolutely aligned. It's much more, I don't want to give the whole thing away, but it's much more confrontational with them this time, and you know, it is still about kind of struggle for power in that respect, but their situations are completely different from what they were in Mortal Kombat 11, which is the case with all of our characters. So there's definitely some headbutting between those two.
Then you also revealed 2 new cameo characters, Motaro and Shujinko.
That's right.
How do you like make the decisions? Okay, this is going to be a playable character. This one's cameo. This one's going to be both. How do those talks play out?
A lot of it is a character like Motaro. You know, he'd be hard to control. As you know, we had him playable, or we had him as a boss in Mortal Kombat 3, and it's a character that is fun to see, but because of their shape, makes for a better cameo than he would a main roster fighter. And as far as Shujinko is concerned, Shujinko is part of the 3D era characters that we're really making an effort to bring back. And since he isn't part of the story, we put him into the cameo roster, and which is the cameo roster in general. Most of them are unrelated to the story, so those are the novelties that we add. So characters that you haven't seen in a long time are just making these kind of cameo appearances.
Last question. With less than a month to go before Mortal Kombat 1, what's the one thing you're most excited about for players to discover with this game?
For me, it's the cameo fighters, but there's a ton of new things. You know, the invasions is going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of secrets in there. You know, this is Mortal Kombat. That's a big part of what we consider its signature is these secrets. But there's so much single player experience. You know, more than we've ever put in a big game. To me, the cameo fighters is going to be what's really going to let players come up with new ideas, express themselves with combining their favorite fighter, and it's the mixing and matching of these main cameo fighters that I think is going to be the kind of like the sandbox that everybody's going to be playing in.
I'm super excited. Ed, thank you so much for coming by the IGN stage.
Thanks for having me.
Mortal Kombat 1 hits PS5, Xbox Series, PC, and Nintendo Switch September 19th. There's lots more Gamescom Studios still to come right here on IGN.